It's December now, and looking back, 2023 has been a pretty interesting year for movies. There was definitely some shit put out over the last 12 months, but overall, I would say this was a pretty damn good year. I mean, this year, I went to the movie theater 32 times, which is more than any other year of my life. But as we got closer to the end of the year, my list of must-watch movies went down to only one film.
Godzilla Minus One.
I've been a fan of Godzilla for a while now, originally getting into it through Legendary's MonsterVerse. And as much as I enjoy the American Godzilla films, there's always been one huge issue that has always bothered me and what seems like the majority of fans: the human characters. The MonsterVerse has a weird obsession with attempting to make us care about their boring, generic human characters, which is constantly taking away time from what we actually care about. They did a good job when it actually came to the monsters, but their most recent films have seemed to have lost their way a bit. Godzilla wasn't just made to be a cool monster fighting other monsters. He was created to be a symbolic metaphor for nuclear weapons and the devastation that they can cause. Godzilla Minus One understood that. When the first trailer for this film dropped, it blew me away. It looked like a breath of fresh air. It seemed like it actually took itself seriously and didn't have that Hollywoodization that the MonsterVerse has fallen victim to. It looked like an actual film, not an event. Minus One released in select North American theaters, and I was lucky enough to go opening night and see it in IMAX. I mean, I had high expectations, but my god, I am not joking when I say this might just be the best film of the year. Every aspect of this film was masterfully crafted by Takashi Yamazaki. This man is a genius. He oversaw VFX, wrote and directed Minus One. This may be the most terrifying version of Godzilla we've ever had, because Minus One doesn't attempt to make him some sort of anti-hero like the MonsterVerse does. This Godzilla is straight up evil. He does not give any fucks and just bulldozes through cities without any goal or purpose. He seems to enjoy wreaking havoc, and there's not a single thing anyone can do to stop him. There's an incredible sense of scale to his design as he is chasing wooden boats in the ocean or walking through buildings. Godzilla feels huge and is a threat in every single scene he's in. You feel the horror of the Japanese people as this monstrosity created by humanity's mistakes ravages their homes. And my god, the atomic breath scene was just jaw-dropping. Sure, the MonsterVerse atomic breath is cool, but it doesn't really have any weight to it. It's more comparable to Superman using his laser eyes than something capable of mass destruction. Minus One's atomic breath has a really good slow buildup, but when it's fired, it's like a shotgun blast, quickly flying out and causes a blast on par with a nuclear explosion. Seeing that scene in IMAX was just chilling. The entire theater was in awe. The score to this film was also incredible. As soon as I got home, I added the soundtrack to my library. The film has harrowingly beautiful tracks like Elegy, and also monstrously epic tracks like Divine that sound like boss battle music. But besides the terrifying portrayal of Godzilla and the fantastic music, what makes this film stand out is how it handles the human characters. Because this honestly would have still been an interesting film even if Godzilla wasn't in it due to the intriguing time setting and the enthralling characters. We follow Koichi, a kamikaze pilot for the Japanese army during the final days of World War II, who abandoned his mission because he wanted to live. He tells the army mechanics that his plane had a malfunction, but they saw right through him, accusing him of being a coward for not wanting to give his life for Japan. One of my favorite moments of the film is when Koichi is upset and sitting by the water, and one of the mechanics approaches him and says he understands why he didn't want to die for a nothing cause. It was 1945 and Japan was on the verge of surrender from Allied forces, so Koichi is questioning the value in giving up his life in a losing battle. When Godzilla appears for the first time, the mechanic Captain Tachibana ordered Koichi to get in his plane and fire the guns on the terrifying creature. Koichi runs to the plane but is unable to fire upon the monster out of fear, so the mechanics open fire on Godzilla, causing him to kill them all but Koichi and Tachibana. Because of this, Koichi lives with regret throughout the film and constantly feels as if he deserves to die. These are the themes that Minus One explores, themes of death and the value of human life. Japan during World War II was a country that didn't value the lives of the soldiers who fought for it. Many of their planes were not designed to have ejection seats, and soldiers were expected to give their lives for their country as kamikaze pilots. Honor was the foundation for their sacrifice. Dying for your country was the honorable thing to do, so many did it. But what happens when you start to question the country your side fights for? Is it really honorable to die for a cause that you don't believe in and for a war that is so clearly ending? Is life really that meaningless? Minus One says no. There is an inspiring scene leading up to the third act of the film where the Japanese people meet in a room to come up with a plan to stop Godzilla. The Japanese government is unable to help, so it's up to the citizens to save the country and its people. While coming up with a plan, the men start to question why they should even help. They already risked their lives in the war and saw so many get killed. Later, the scientist who came up with the plan gives a speech that recognizes the trauma of the war-torn men, but assures them that this time will be different. This time, their lives will be valued. This time, they are not fighting for a war that values death, they are fighting for life, because life is valuable and it deserves to be fought for. Later in the film, when Koichi sacrifices himself and crashes the plane into the mouth of Godzilla, it is revealed that Tachibana, the man who told Koichi he was a coward and he was meant to die, is the one who saved his life. He told him about the ejection seat in his plane which allowed Koichi to serve his country while keeping his own life. These themes of life, death, sacrifice, and redemption are what make Minus One so good and refreshing. Hollywood seems to be under the impression that these movies can have cool action set pieces and big monsters while also having an interesting human drama in the foreground. Wanna know something crazy? Godzilla King of the Monsters had a budget of around $200 million, while Minus One had one of $15 million. I didn't believe this when I first heard it because this film looks so damn incredible. And it's embarrassing for Hollywood and shows that these big movie studios don't know how to put their money towards the proper resources. I really do think Minus One has the opportunity to change the industry and how Hollywood looks at approaching these kinds of movies. Of course, we all love watching a big monster fight another big monster, but that doesn't mean we can't also have an interesting story with relatable characters and themes about the human condition. Minus One proves this is possible, telling a story about a nation being hit hard when they're already at their lowest point, going from zero to minus.